We're back. Welcome to the new season of Two Likeable Guys. I am your co-host, Steve, and this is my good friend and co-host,
Josh.
And we have an exciting bunch of shows lined up and ready to go, and you're going to love it, and you're going to learn something, and it's going to be awesome. But first, Josh, do you know where a pirate cleans his automobile?
No. Didn't know pirates had automobiles.
Yeah, they do. And when they get them cleaned, they go to the R wash.
R wash. I should have guessed that one.
Yeah, that came around because my son is putting together sentences now a little bit better, and he loves to say, let's go to the R wash. And so I changed it to R wash. But what if I told you the answer is Price is Right, Wheel of Fortune, Jeopardy, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? What would you say?
What are game shows?
Yes! Which leads us into...
Oh, wait a minute. Do I win something?
Yeah, man. You win this awesome episode of Two Likeable Guys. You get to listen to it in its entirety, free of charge. You're welcome. Have you ever dreamed of being on a game show?
No.
Oh, I have. Oh, man, I have. I mean, I see these people, and it's like nerve-wracking. And what's so funny is I got to go to the traveling Price is Right game show.
Oh, yeah, when it was in town. Did you go
Yeah.
to Tivoli?
Yes, at the Tivoli.
Oh, yeah.
And it was a lot of fun, but I found myself getting so nervous when they were calling out the next contestant's name that I would be like, don't call me, don't call me, don't call me. But in the other side of my head, I was like, yes, let me go. But I didn't get called. But our guest today, she has been to the pinnacle of game shows. Really smart girl, really smart lady, really smart woman, really smart person. She's awesome. And she's gonna, well, first we'll talk about how I know her, and then we'll get into how she became a contestant on Jeopardy with Alex Trebek.
The OG.
The original. So it's going to be awesome. I mean, it's a great, she is just amazing. This is so cool. So if you've ever wanted to know how to get on, she tells her story of how to get on the game show, and it's awesome.
I thought of a really good joke. I thought I could ask you, how would it be, how would I go about getting on Jeopardy? And you'd say, well, the first thing you're going to have to do is get a lot smarter.
Oh, no, that's mean.
Wah, wah, wah. I know, but I thought it was funny. But anyway, I thought we'd start out just by saying, Beth is a longtime friend of mine. I've known Beth since, goodness,
30 years, almost.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. At least.
Early 90s, yeah.
Yep. Probably longer.
That was the heyday.
Yeah.
I think like 90,
Maybe.
92, 93.
Oh, yeah. We worked together at the lovely Sonic Drive-In in
Yes, indeed.
downtown Red Bank.
Beautiful downtown
it was
Red
great.
Bank.
Yes. And, I think the only reason you were here basically is because you were going to school. Is that right, Beth?
It was. Well, I was at UTC for a little bit.
Yeah. And what did you major in?
History.
What is that? What you ended up getting your degree in? And
yeah, my degrees are in history. So.
Yeah, degrees plural.
Yes.
What was your specific focus of history?
Okay. American history.
Okay.
You don't mean like economic or military.
Nah,
you mean like what? Yeah, American. Let's keep it simple.
No, broad. I'm looking for broad strokes here.
Yep.
History was good enough. American history, that's perfect. And let's see. And you are currently a instructor at a college?
I'm an assistant professor at a community college.
Okay. You're an assistant professor, is that right?
Yep. I'm not a doctor, but I'm an assistant professor.
Yeah. You're not a doctor.
No. I had a premature baby instead of getting my doctorate.
I understand that.
Should have said, I play one on TV.
Yeah, exactly.
Is your husband a doctor?
No, we both just have masters.
Okay. I was thinking for some reason, well, the one thing I can tell you about Beth is that you never want to go up against Beth and her family at any kind of trivia contest.
We are a tad competitive, yes.
You're gonna lose. That would have been a great idea to have a bunch of random Jeopardy questions to ask you. Now that I'm thinking about it.
Don't do that. I'm way too stupid. I've been home for a year and a half.
No, it's great. But I really, I'm like I said, I've known Beth for 30-ish plus years. She is, I can say confidently, top 10. Actually, I'm going to say top 5 of the smartest people I know and have ever known.
You need to get out more.
Yes, but she's extremely witty. I mean, don't let her kid you. She is smarter than the average bear, and then some. She's a very likable gal, and has quite an awesome husband and a pretty cool kid who's into the teen years now.
Yes.
Like almost. Was he going to be a sophomore or a junior?
A junior.
Junior this year.
Yeah, he's 16.
Oh, wow. Driving yet?
Working on it.
Okay. Well, the first, we can start off with one of the questions we always ask everybody that's on the show. What was your first vehicle?
Well, Steve, you know this. It was a 1982 Toyota Celica.
It was red.
At one point in its life been red, yes. And by the time I got it, it was kind of faded pink.
Yes.
And you worked on it and made it almost red again.
Yes, and because there was some product that was out then that you could put a coat of this stuff on your paint, and it would look good for about a month, maybe a month and a half, 2 months. And then it looked terrible. And it was the worst stuff to try to get off. But that was a few days ago.
You mean that
was in the...
that stuff still isn't around?
No, I don't even remember the name of it. It was terrible. And I had gotten several jobs of people who had used that on their vehicles to get it off. They're like, hey, it looked good. Now it looks terrible. So
I don't remember it looking terrible, but it may have just reverted to its normal terrible state.
Yeah, it was. Oh, and it was just an awful coating stuff. I need to look up the name of it because we used to make fun of it all the time, and it's like, well, it's obviously got so and so coat on it. So it was did you say 1984?
82.
82.
Yeah,
82
Celica with the louvers on the back. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, well, here's this is how far Beth and I go back. We and a mutual friend of ours went to the concert of a lifetime.
Yeah, baby.
Concert of a lifetime at Lake Winnipesaukee, featuring none other, and you're going to have to help me with his name, but none other... The guy from was it the first Real World?
It was the second. The cowboy guy,
Real
John.
World. John. That's it.
Yep.
Yeah. The country singer John was live and in person. And it was in Irene. I have very fond memories of that concert because it was just hilarious. I mean,
it was.
I mean, he wasn't bad. I mean, but he was a reality TV star before reality TV stars became cool.
Yes, I mean, he was just some dude, and then he got to play at Lake Winnie, and he sang here in the real world. I remember him.
Yep.
Hitting all the big venues.
Yeah. Yeah, you know you've made it when you hit Lake Winnie.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly. It's the big time.
That is the big time. But anyway, so what made you want to be on Jeopardy? I remember talking to you about this when I don't know if you remember or not, but when we worked at Sonica, we were playing a trivia game, and you were like just rapping off the answers, just rapid fire going with the answers. And all of a sudden I said, you know what? You need to be on that show. You need to be on Jeopardy. And you're like, oh, no, I could never do that because I always draw blanks. And I'd be like, and I'd run out of time, is what you said. So what made you change your mind?
Well, I always, kind of wanted to do it, but been afraid to do it. And the older I get, the more I'm trying to do things that are scary. And that was kind of on my to-do list. And so
that is really
took
scary.
the online test and just went from there.
Okay, so there was an online test, so you take an online test and it says, was it just about questions, random questions, trivia, or? There's
50 clues, and you have 15 seconds to type in your answer for each clue. It's timed, and spelling doesn't count, thank God. And then if you do well enough on it, you move on to the next kind of phase of the audition process.
Okay.
And right now they've changed it now. They used to only do it a couple times a year. You could only audition online a couple times a year. But now you can do it anytime at Jeopardy.com. You can go and take the test. And if you want to be on Jeopardy, you should go for it.
Yeah. And you're not a paid spokesman. We need to clear this up.
No.
Okay.
I just love Jeopardy.
Yes. And so after the first, you get past the first wave of tests. Do they call you? Do they just email you back?
They tell you they have a year. When you get done with it, they don't tell you your score, but they tell you they have up to a year to contact you. And so I didn't think anything else about it. I thought, well, I did it, whatever. And then they called me like 3 weeks later to let me know I was going to have the in-person audition in Nashville. So that was the next step.
Okay. What kind of a place was it at in Nashville?
It was at the Sheraton. It was in one of those hotel conference rooms.
And
there was about 40 people there. Yeah, it was the kind of the regional one. And so there were people there from all over the South.
Okay. And have you, I guess this is kind of, do you know of anybody else that made it to the actual show from your audition?
I don't. And I've kind of been watching. I haven't seen anyone else from my audition group, but a lot of people audition multiple times before they make it on there. I just got really lucky.
No, I don't think it's luck. They just saw some genius in you that most people around you can see, and they're like, this girl needs to be on here. Because before you were on, I could have put money in that you were gonna win and win big. But we'll get to that.
Well, that was the goal.
Yeah, and we would, your name would be right next to Ken Jennings, and you'd probably be hosting the show right now for a few episodes.
That would be something.
That'd be amazing. But anyway, okay, so you get the casting call to Nashville. How long after the initial? This is about 30. Did you say 30 days from the time you took the?
I got called about 3 weeks after I took the test, and then they wanted me in Nashville about 3 weeks after that. So it was about 6 weeks from taking the online test to going to Nashville for the next part.
Okay, did they pay you to go to Nashville?
Oh, gosh, no.
Okay, just checking, I don't know. And what happens in Nashville?
Everybody was super nervous. So it's all these hopeful Jeopardy people kind of milling around in the hallway. And they take your, you have to fill out a whole bunch of paperwork before you go. And so they check off your paperwork, they take your picture, and then you have to take another written test to make sure you didn't cheat on the online one. And so you have to do an in-person written test, and then they grade all those. And so you kind of sit around while they're grading them. And then you do the in-person kind of fake game where they call 3 people up at a time and they give you a buzzer, and you practice having a game. And they're really looking for people who aren't going to freeze up and embarrass themselves on television. So they want people who are loud, and they want people who will, choose a category and say an answer and keep the game moving. And they told us all that before we started.
So is that nerve-wracking, knowing you've really got to perform at this audition? So you're like, okay, you just randomly press, and I would have probably never gotten picked. So I would have made a joke of, hey, my button's not working. And then I would have gone into the spiel with, where the Saturday Night Live skit where they do the Jeopardy. And anyway,
they would have kicked you out of there so quick.
Yeah, I know.
Start doing that.
Some people were really nervous. You could tell that it wasn't going to work out for them because they were having a hard time being heard, and they just seemed so overwhelmed with it. And I get up and yak in front of, teenagers all day long, so I don't have any fear.
Right.
Loud and in charge.
Yep. Whether that's a good thing or not, that's what I am.
Yes. Yeah, you're good upper management material.
Yeah, that's me. Upper management.
Get things done. Upper management. All right. So do you feel like you've done pretty good in Nashville? Do you feel like you've done okay? Where do you feel like you're at on the spectrum?
I felt like I did okay. I took, because I'm kind of obsessive compulsive about stuff like this, I spent a lot of time researching what I should wear and how I should act to get on the show, because there's a ton of that stuff online. And so I dressed very carefully, and they called me, I wore a red shirt. And so the casting coordinator called me the lady in red all day, which was good because I was on their radar.
Right.
Memorable.
Okay. Yeah, memorable. Exactly. And that's what you want to be, is memorable in a good way. And I felt pretty confident about it. Mostly it was just so much fun to do it. I mean, I never thought I would get that far. I kind of took the online test as why not? And then to get an in-person audition, I thought, if nothing else happens, this in itself is amazing. It was just really fun. So I felt good about it coming home.
Good. And did they keep score? Did you win in the fake competition, in the mock competition?
They didn't keep score. They kind of rotate groups of 3 through, you get 5 or 6 questions and then move on to the next group. So.
Yeah, because I'm sure you blew all these amateurs away. I'm just saying.
I did do well in the Disney Cars movie category. So.
Oh, excellent! So was that your favorite mock category?
Oh yeah, definitely.
The Disney Cars category.
Yeah, about the Cars trilogy, because I have a son and I've seen all of those many times.
That is awesome. Yes.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, and you two can look like me, And anyway, with
exactly.
an insane amount of luck. Yeah. And let's go with what? So now, what do they tell you? They say, okay, well, good luck. Will see you later?
Yeah, 18 months. Once you do the in-person audition, if you get that far, then you go into a pool of contestants from all over the country. For 18 months, they have to contact you. And so I didn't think anything about it. And then I got the call in late June, so about 4 weeks after that. I got the call from California, popped up on my caller ID, and I thought, no way. And it was Jeopardy, and they wanted me out there in August.
Wow.
Okay, and they did pay for that?
Nope.
Or not?
They don't pay for anything. If you are a returning champion, you have to pay your own way out there. They have 2 hotels they have deals with, so you get a discount, which is not much of a discount. But you got to pay your own plane fare and you got to pay your own hotel and all your expenses. They will get you to the studio. They have a van that does that. And if you win and have to fly back out there, they'll pay for that. So they pay for returning champions to come back. So if you're like Ken Jennings and you have to keep coming back and coming back, they pay for that.
When you get the call that you're going to be on the show, first off, what do they say? They say, "Congratulations."
Yeah, pretty much. It was one of the his name is Glenn. He's retired since, but he was one of the casting coordinators, and he called and said, "Hey, this is Glenn. Do you remember me?" And I said, "Of course I do." And he said, "Well, you did great. We want you to come out and be on the show. And does this date work for you?" And it didn't, but I said yes anyway because I wasn't going to do anything to screw it up. So I was just kind of in shock, honestly, when it happened.
Was anybody around you when this phone call came in?
Yes, I may or may not have screamed, "It's California!" And so my husband and my son both came running, and so they were sitting there with me when I took the call. So good thing it wasn't a telemarketer.
I want to know their reaction after. Okay, so you get all that, and they realize what's going on, and you hang up the phone. What happens in the Kitts household?
Well, Charles is a planner, so he starts looking at plane tickets right away. We have to get to Los Angeles. We have to rent a car. We have to plan all this stuff and get it, booked. So that was kind of his response. And then Matt was just kind of like, "Yeah, that's cool," because he's a teenager, right?
Right.
And then I started calling people and bragging just a little bit, like I'm going to be on Jeopardy. So.
And you announced it to your friends online.
I did. I hadn't told anybody up until that point that I'd even auditioned. I hadn't told anyone I had done the online test. I hadn't told anyone I'd been to Nashville until I was done with all that. And so, then getting the call was kind of amazing. So.
Okay. So how long from the time you get the call till your tape date, your show date, is it? Like roughly?
It was about a month. I had about 4 weeks. Yeah, it happened really fast.
So from the time, if I'm not mistaken, from the time you took the online test to being on the show was about 3 months.
Yes, I took the online test in April, and then I taped my appearance in August.
Wow.
So yeah, it happened super fast.
Yeah, that's
and again, that was just luck because you go into a huge pool of contestants, and I think it was just dumb luck that it happened that fast for me.
I disagree. I think they saw something in you that thought that you were the next Ken Jennings or whoever the other winner. That's the only name I know, so I'm going to keep using it.
That's the one everybody knows, and he's a nice guy. So.
Well, they probably had that one already scheduled in Nashville. That's probably why it happened so quick on that. But them calling you back after that quick. That's you must have stood out.
I know, it was wild. It was wild that it happened that fast.
The red shirt worked.
Yeah, there you go.
That's what we'll say.
Lady in red.
I figured that was a positive thing. So
you get everything together and you head out. Do you travel often? Have you flown to LA before? Have you ever been to Los Angeles?
That was my first trip to LA. We travel as much as we can. We have, this is going to sound super cheesy, but we're trying to see the nation by graduation. And so we're trying to mark off as many states as we can for Matt, for my son. And so we travel a bunch, but we just hadn't been to California yet. So this was a new state for all of us. So we all went.
Right. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was it, did it live up to the hype, I guess, first off?
We were there for such a brief time because I was in the middle of, I teach a really accelerated class in the summer that only goes for like 2.5 weeks. And so to miss any of that was really bad, but I did it anyway because Jeopardy. So I taught in the morning. We flew out that night. We had the Jeopardy thing all day the next day, and then I flew home the day after that. So we were only there like less than 48 hours.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
But I liked what I saw of Los Angeles. I liked so.
So you get out there. Do they? So do you go to when do you go to the set? They're like, oh, do they check on you? Do they make sure you're there? Or
no, they don't check on you. And if you're not in the van, you're out of luck. They have, not backups, alternatives waiting on the set for people who don't show up. So if you don't show up, that's it. Yep.
You party too hard the night before and you miss your bus call, and you're just out. Oh man.
There was a guy on the phone with the contestant coordinator, and we could all hear the conversation. He's like, I'm in traffic at this street, and I'm on my way. And she's like, well, you better get here. So.
Do you know if they made it or not?
He did. Yeah, he did. He ended up being on. So.
Did you get to meet the people you played against beforehand?
Yeah, we hung out. We got to hang out. You practice all morning, and then they tape 5 shows a day. So they tape a whole week's worth in one day. So they only tape 2 days a week. So they do like 5 shows on Tuesday and 5 shows on Wednesday. And so you practice with your whole group that's going to be a week's worth of Jeopardy all morning hanging out together. And then you battle to the death in the afternoon. But everybody was so nice, and we had a really good time hanging out together. There were some really interesting people, and a lot of us were staying in the same hotel.
Yeah, because you got the discount.
Yes, exactly. Such as it was.
And I imagine it's probably not cheap either. I can't imagine anything being cheap, even with a Jeopardy discount.
No, it's Los Angeles. No, it wasn't cheap, but worth it. So. And, you're hoping you're going to win a whole bunch of money to pay for it.
Right.
Yes. What do we not see? Like just watching the show on television, what do we not see? What's going on?
It's
during
the studio is really small. Oh, go ahead.
No, you're fine. You're perfect. Studio is really small.
Yeah, you get there and you go through like the whole super security metal detector, the whole thing. And the Jeopardy studio and the Wheel of Fortune studio are right next to each other because they're sister shows, right? And so you get in there, and the very first thing you see is a life-size cutout of Alex Trebek. It's right there when you walk in. And then they have a little Jeopardy museum that has like all the Emmys and a big Lego model of the Jeopardy set. And then
are you by yourself at this point? I mean, no family allowed?
No family, no cell phones. They were super strict about you can't communicate with anybody. You can't look. Your family may be in the audience, but don't you dare look at them. So they were very, very strict about that. So by this point, you have to get along with the other people who you were with because that's all you got.
And they're your support group.
Yes. And they got us all. We kind of walked through the set to see it, and it's a lot smaller than it looks like on television. But it's still, it's kind of overwhelming because it's the Jeopardy set, and there's the big board, and there's the podiums, and there's where Johnny Gilbert's going to sit to introduce you. So that was a little bit overwhelming. And then they take you back and you do paperwork, so much paperwork, because you have to fill out all of these forms before you go with all those funny stories. You know how Alex or whoever the host is asks in the break. So it's not just one. You have to. There was like a 5-page form. You had to send multiple funny stories, and then they pick 3. The production team picks 3 and puts them on an index card and gives that to Alex. And you don't know what he's going to ask you until he's asking it to you.
What was your funny story?
The one that Alex ended up picking was about a wrong answer that one of my students had in class. I kind of collect bad wrong answers, like Buzz Armstrong or Buzz Lightyear landed on the moon and Lance Armstrong landed on the moon. This one was they had called the Donner Party the dinner party because the Donner Party was all about cannibalism. Yeah, so it was. Alex kind of chuckled at that. So, but you don't know what he's going to pick. So they go over the 3 that the production team has picked to make sure you can get through it without saying a lot of ums or stumbling and things like that. And that way, in case you're on there for more than one show, they have more than one story ready to go.
Right.
So you kind of rehearse that. And then we did so many practice games because it's all about the buzzer. The first thing that I realized was watching everybody else was, okay, everybody here is super smart. They all made it this far. It's going to be all about the buzzer. And it was. Who could ring in the fastest and the most consistently with the little buzzer.
Did you feel confident with your buzzer skills?
I did not. You can't see it at home, but there's 2 sets of lights on the side of the board that light up. As soon as Alex is done, or whoever is done reading the question, one of the production team hits a button and these 2 sets of lights light up and it releases the buzzers. So you can't buzz in until those lights light up. And if you do it before then, it locks you out. You have to get the absolute perfect timing with it. It's hard. It was the hardest thing about the whole process was the buzzer.
So it locks you out for that question. So you cannot answer that question if you buzz too soon?
If you buzz too soon, it locks you out for I can't remember the actual time. It's like half a second, but it's enough for the other 2 to buzz in. If they get it wrong, then you can buzz in.
Okay.
But it has to be the perfect timing, and it's really tricky. So we practice that a lot.
So did you ever get a chance to pick up anybody's wrong answer out of the, they missed it, and so did you get to beep in and go, ha ha ha, you're not that bright after all, and I am?
Well, I mean, I did get a chance to get a couple of rebound answers, but I didn't do the ha ha ha.
You didn't stand up there with your hands on your hip like you're a superhero. Ha ha! I know the answer. You do not.
It feels like such a second chance though when they miss it and you know it because you're like, oh, now I can actually ring in and get this right. Because everybody knows all the answers, for the most part. It's just a matter of who gets it first. And so when somebody missed one and being able to buzz in and go, no, I know that, that was really nice.
Right. So were you pretty confident, like when he was asking the questions, did you know the answers?
It was a very mixed bag. The buzzer is the big thing, and the other thing is luck, what categories show up. Because we taped my game was the last game of the day, so I watched 4 other games get taped and then played my game. And
did you feel like the other 4 games you knew every answer?
Yes.
And then when it came to yours, it was like, what? These are ridiculous.
Yes, that's exactly what I felt like, especially the game right before mine. I was like, I know all of these. I can't stand it. But you have no control over when they literally pick names out of a bag on who gets to play in what game and against which contestants. So you have 0 control over it. But the first round, the very first category that popped up in the first round of Jeopardy was horror movies, which I hate. I don't watch them. I don't know any of them. I didn't know a single answer in that whole category. But then in Double Jeopardy, the first category that popped up was about Henry Clay. And I teach so much about Henry Clay. My students give me Henry Clay themed presents. So I was like, hallelujah, it's Henry Clay. And then there was 90s pop.
Wow.
So, there you go.
Yeah, it was great. So it's good stuff. So it's just luck, what you get.
Did you run the board on both of those categories?
I almost did on Henry Clay, the returning champion, before I could, and he got it right. But I got the other 4.
Okay. It's interesting.
It was really, it was the look on my face when Henry Clay popped up. I was like, I can't believe this is happening right now. The Jeopardy gods have smiled on me.
Well, I can tell you, I watched, I was excited. I was amazed. I was totally, I knew her episode was coming, she knew when it was going to air. And so when I watched it live, I was a little sad after the first round, but I was like, there's still hope, you weren't negative after the first round, were you? I don't remember.
No, I had 3 goals, and one of them was not to go negative, and I did okay with that. So,
and then the second round was you had one. Did you say John Clay?
Henry Clay.
Henry Clay.
Come on,
Henry Clay from Kentucky.
Yeah, the Henry Clay category, and you went down it, and I was screaming at the TV. I was like, Yes, yes. And I felt like, when, have you ever seen the movie The Hangover, after they win a bunch of money and like, we're back in it. Yes. It's exactly how I felt.
That's how I felt too. And then I went to 90s pop from that, and I got right back in it. I was competitive going into Final Jeopardy because I did okay in the second half there.
I was so excited for you. I thought, oh my gosh, she's going to pull it out. This is going to happen. And so it was really exciting for me to watch. And when you were like, I was like, okay, there's a chance. I mean, it's not, it's going to take a little luck now. It's going to take, a lot of luck. And so what was your Final Jeopardy question?
Oh gosh, the category was world literature. And I thought, I'm going to go for it, because I was in a position where if I had gotten it right and my opponents had gotten it wrong, I would have won. So I bet everything but $2, because I figured, sometimes people win with $1 because other people get it wrong. Or I thought, if I have $2, I'll win. And so I bet everything. Yeah. And they come over, what you don't see, they come over in the break before Final Jeopardy. They tape it in real time, so that there aren't like any breaks to stand around or anything. And on the commercial breaks, they come over and talk to the contestants. And if Alex has said anything wrong or whoever has misstated or misspoke, they retape it on the commercial breaks. And he mispronounced things a bunch, which made me feel better that he was more human. But anyway, so before Final Jeopardy, they come over and they tell you if it's going to be a who is or a what is, and you go ahead and write that down, so you're not wasting time with that. And then there's scratch paper to do your wager, and they triple check your wager. Is this what you want to bet? Are you positive? Are you positive? Before they lock it in. And once it's locked in, that's it. So there's a lot of kind of prep work on the break that goes into Final Jeopardy. And I thought world literature, I teach world history. I have a decent shot at this. And then that clue popped up there, and I thought, oh, crap. I got nothing. I got nothing for this. I don't have a clue in the world what the answer to this question is. And I ended up not putting anything, and I lost. I came in third and with my $2. But it was
you were not negative.
I was not negative. I had 3 goals. I wanted to make sure I got into Final Jeopardy, so I wasn't negative. I wanted to make sure I didn't fall off the risers. There's these little boxes you can't see behind the podiums that go up and down. If you watch it, everybody's kind of the same height.
Right.
And that's why, because they're on these adjustable boxes. And I thought, I'm going to fall off that thing and
so
die.
Yours must have been like 3 foot tall. How did you balance?
It was up as high as it could go.
I'm kidding.
The girl next to me, who ended up winning, hers was up as high as it could go. Mine was up as high as it could go. And then the returning champion was like 6 something. So he was just standing on the floor. But nice. I wanted to make it to Final Jeopardy, not fall off the box, and not curse in front of Alex Trebek. And I managed to do all of those things.
Did he let anything slip? He didn't
no, he got frustrated a couple of times when he would mispronounce things.
Right.
And then between the game taping, he would take questions from the audience, and you could tell he was a little annoyed at some of the questions. But he was right in the middle of chemo round, so he didn't feel good.
Right.
Right.
But he was so gracious and so nice. And when I lost with my $2, he came straight to me first. To make sure I was okay, because I hadn't even put an answer down. He was like, that was a hard question. And, it wasn't. Both of my opponents had gotten it right. I just didn't know it. But he was so just calming and just kind. He was a kind man, to come over and make sure that I was okay, that I wasn't going to like freak out and cry. And I said, no, this was a great experience, and it'll be really good for my students to see me lose and, get up and keep going. So. Right.
I did notice that in the watching the show, as it ends and the credits or whatever going on, I noticed he came directly to you. And I thought, well, of course he did, because she's awesome.
I think he thought I was going to be upset. And there's a lot of groups, like social media groups out there for people who've been on Jeopardy. And a lot of people talk about how devastating it was to have this lifelong dream and lose. And a lot of people feel like that. They can't watch the show anymore. And I just thought, God, this was fun. I got a chance to do this, and I lost, but it was fun. I still get $1,000 for third place. This was awesome.
Did you get any good parting swag, parting gifts? For third place, you get $1,000, which I'm sure Uncle Sam gets to take a nice.
Yeah, that was going to be my question. How much did Uncle Sam get of that grand?
Not a lot, because it was only $1,000. California took some. But Uncle Sam didn't take a whole bunch once it was wrapped up into the rest of my income. But I got a tote bag, a Jeopardy tote bag that I take everywhere just because people are like, were you on Jeopardy? Yes, I was. Look at my tote bag. And I got a ball cap that's got the question mark on the front, and it says "Get a Clue" on the back, and some pens and a seat cushion. So Jeopardy swag.
There you go.
That's nice. And was that free, or did you have to purchase all that?
No, that was the tote bag came with all the stuff in it, except for the seat cushion, which my son won. They did little trivia contests between game tapings, and he won one of those, and so he won a seat cushion. So it's technically his seat cushion, but
that's awesome.
So maybe someday he'll be on there.
Yeah, that was something I was wanting to ask you on the taping, and you kind of mentioned it when they taped the show. It's in real time. Is that what you said?
It is. Yeah. They when they show the commercial breaks at home, that's when they're retaping any questions that have been screwed up or editing stuff out.
Right.
One of my opponents, they edited out a chunk of his little story that they asked him, between the rounds because he went on for too long. And so they kind of edit some of that stuff out, and then between Final Jeopardy is when they're talking to the contestants. But it's basically real time. So for the 30-minute episode, it takes like maybe 35 or 40 minutes to tape.
To actually tape it. Yeah, that's cool.
Did you get some pictures with Alex Trebek?
I did. He took. Excuse me. Before each game, he would come out and they would get a picture of you by yourself behind the podium and then a picture of you with Alex. And for a long time, my picture of me and Alex was my profile picture on everything because I'm standing there with Alex Trebek.
Of course, yeah.
Right.
So, but I finally changed it because I thought, this was in 2019 and I should probably maybe move on. But it was still, it's one of my favorite pictures.
That is awesome. That is so much fun.
He was very, very kind.
Did you see anybody famous in Los Angeles?
We did. When we were flying back, first we saw Evander Holyfield in the airport.
Wow.
And then we got in line, and this guy kind of pushed by Charles, and we were waiting in line at our gate to fly home. And this guy kind of pushed by because his wife and child were in front of us, and he was nice. He was like, "Oh, excuse me," and my husband's like, "Oh, that's Dave Foley."
Oh, really, Dave Foley? Oh,
yeah,
cool.
it was kind of, he was like 2 rows in front of us on the plane. So, I mean, not super duper celebrity, like we didn't run into Matt Damon or Brad Pitt, but Dave Foley's still pretty cool.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'd love Dave Foley.
Yeah, wasn't he Kids in the Hall?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that was the big break for him. He's been in a bunch of stuff.
News radio and all that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It sounds like a once in a lifetime experience.
It
just
was.
sounds like
I'm sorry, I keep interrupting you.
No, I want to know your thoughts about that. I mean, was is it something that, I mean, it's got to be something you'll treasure forever and ever and ever. And did your family did get this be in the audience?
Yes, I was really lucky. My husband and my son, we all flew out together. We took him. It was his first week of high school, and we took him out of school to come with us because it was a once in a lifetime. And I went to the vice principal and I said, "Hey, I'm going to be on Jeopardy. Can this be an excused absence?" And she said, "Yes, how cool!" So he was actually excused from school to go to Jeopardy. But a lot of the other people who were there didn't have people with them. And so they didn't, whether they won or lost, when they were done, they didn't have anybody else to go be with. So we ended up, the 2 people that were in my game with me, we drove them back to the hotel because they didn't have cars. They'd taken the van. They don't take you back to the hotel. They only take you to the set. You're on your own to get back.
That's terrible.
So we had a rental car, so we ended up just piling everybody into it and taking them back. And my son is sitting in the back seat with the 2 of them on either side, and the woman had won and the man had been the returning champion. So they were both winners. And I'm in the front, and Matt's like, I'm in the back seat with 2 Jeopardy winners. And I said, yeah, and your mom. So, a little hurtful. But I've seen so many people talk about how hard it was to lose, and I just didn't feel like that. I just thought the whole thing was a blast.
In the, well, do the people in the audience have to sign disclaimers where they will not divulge what happens?
That's a good question. I don't know the answer to that. I'm pretty sure that my family did. I had to sign all kinds of things that if you talk about it, you don't get your money. So,
but did they not give you your money till it aired or something? Or?
Oh, no. Yeah, no, I didn't. I taped in August. My show aired in October. I got my money in January.
Wow.
So, yeah, there's like a 90-day waiting period after your show airs before you actually get your check.
I wonder if that's true with most shows.
I don't know.
I imagine so.
That's interesting. So, I mean, like if you would have won like a ton of money, you've been sitting around eating beans until you got back to your check. It's finally here.
The guy I played against, who was the returning champion, he'd won the 2 games before that, so he'd already won like $30,000 or $40,000. And we were chit-chatting because we were there all day together, and he had job interviews the next week. He was trying to leave his job, and I said, does this take some of the pressure off your job interviews? And he's like, yes. And then we found out we didn't get the money till January. So, a little hard.
So he still had to find that job pretty quick.
Yeah, he still had to be out there looking.
Did he win the next week, the next episode, or do you know?
No, we both got beaten by the other woman, who she was one of their local alternatives. If someone doesn't show up, the alternates are from the Los Angeles area. She was from San Diego. And so she just smoked us. She was on that buzzer. It was astonishing how good she was on the buzzer. So she did great. And she was so nice. It was just, I've always felt like I should feel worse for losing because the money would have been really good. Like, money.
Of course.
I got a kid to put through college. Money would have been nice. But it was just so much fun. I don't have any regrets about it.
That is fantastic. I think that's a great. I absolutely am like on the edge of my seat through all this because it's just an amazing journey to hear, how lives can change in 3 months even, 3 months you could be filling out today. You could be filling out a little form online to apply for, I don't say, Wheel of Fortune. And then, in 3 months, you could be like, have your own IMDb page.
There you go.
I know. I have to admit, when I discovered I had an IMDb page, I thought, this is pretty freaking amazing. I'm on IMDb for my Jeopardy appearance.
So is that right? Is that the way that worked? They just give you an IMDb page when you've been on television for
20 minutes.
Jeopardy contestant?
I don't know where it came from, but I got a message from one of the other women who was there with me that day. We stayed friends on social media, and she was like, "Hey, we're on IMDb." So I don't know how that happened, but we're on there.
So did you?
That's awesome.
Did you go in and fill in your information? Where you were born and where you hometown and all that stuff.
No, I have not done that. Yeah. There's so many people who do weird things to people who've been on Jeopardy, especially women, that I don't need any more public stuff online than I already have.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Have you gotten?
They warned us about it. Before we taped, they said, you need to go in and shut down your social media and make sure you don't have any pictures of your kids up, and make sure everything is set to private because it's going to get weird. And it got weird. That's been the only kind of downside to being on there was terrible weirdo people who feel entitled to kind of reach out and contact you. So, but that's mostly stopped.
Anything? Is there a way to view your episode at this point, or will there be, do you think? Because I know there are older.
Yeah, I think they're on like season 34 or something on Netflix, and I'm on season 36. I actually taped my episode was the 8,000th episode of the show, which was pretty cool.
Oh, wow.
And I imagine I'll know when mine comes on again, because I'll start getting rando Facebook messages from people.
Right.
Random friend requests.
Yeah, I wish it was just friend requests. They send messages and they send pictures.
Oh, man.
That's terrible.
It is terrible. And I got off really easy because I'm a, middle-aged, like, soccer mom. The younger women who've been on there really have had some terrible stuff happen to them. So that's very much the downside of being, I think, on TV for anything these days, is everyone feels entitled to do something to you. So. Yep.
I mean, I guess I see, but still terrible. Terrible.
I had it on my DVR and it got erased, so I don't even have a copy of my episode at this point. But at some point I think you can order one from Sony, but of course it probably costs like $1 bazillion.
Oh yeah. Yeah, just wait till it comes out on Netflix.
Yeah, I think maybe in a couple of years. Yeah.
That's
see.
Exciting though. Has anybody asked for your autograph?
No, that would be weird. As a bronze medalist, which is what they call the third place people, Jeopardy bronze, which sounds better than I lost on Jeopardy, but yeah, that would be very strange.
You didn't play that song on the way back to the hotel, did you?
No, no, because I had two winners in my car with me.
Well,
so.
Yeah, but they're eventually going to be losers, so you can.
Yeah, that's true. Everybody loses eventually.
That's right.
Yeah.
So Ken Jennings lost eventually.
Yeah. I believe that as soon as the episode played, it hit me that I was like playing Weird Al in my head, but it was fun then. It wasn't just the crazy Weird Al song. It was, hey, my friend lost on Jeopardy.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, there's T-shirts out there. I thought about getting one. So, I've lost on Jeopardy, or the celebrity ones from Saturday Night Live and things like that. They suck at Trebek and
Turd Ferguson.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. There's a lot. If you look for it, there's a lot of Jeopardy stuff out there. So.
Yeah, I mean that's just a great, amazing. The categories. It's so blended into all of our pop culture. I mean, even Friends. When they had the episode where they had the little contest to see who was going to win Monica's apartment, they had all the different categories, and it's all relative. And stuff.
It's
so
Ms. Chenandler Bong. Yes, exactly.
It is Ms. Chenandler Bong. That is great. My favorite episode, by the way.
That's a good
one. By far. Yeah, I liked it. Well, I think that's enough. Josh, did you have anything you wanted to add?
I think we covered everything, man. We everything that was on my list got covered. So.
Okay. Oh, I didn't get to tell you my favorite factoid.
Please do.
80,000 people. 80,000 people take the online test, and 3,000 get to audition, but 400 make it on the show every year.
Wow,
so that's pretty good.
Wow, that's like the guy in high school that plays football becoming a college football player. Kind of odd,
right? It's just crazy.
That's pretty awesome. It's pretty amazing. But there's two people that I've had contact with in my life that I knew were destined to do, at least two that I knew when I was younger that were destined to do really great things. And one was Lauren Elena. I met her when she was just a little kid, like 8-9 years old, and had a conversation with her. And the other is you. Because I always knew that you were so smart that you weren't going to be left behind. I mean, it was just your intelligence is, your intelligence is crazy, but your wit is what always got me the most, and what always made me admire you as a person. Your wit was always top notch.
Well, I was
Good
pretty
stuff.
pleased to get to make Alex smile when I told him my donor party joke, story, whatever.
Yes.
He cracked a little Alex smile at me, and I thought, I have succeeded.
Yes. Life is good.
No doubt.
I feel really blessed to have gotten to tape with him. It's very different right now. They do all the auditions are on Zoom. There's no in-person auditions right now, and there's this rotating, group of guest hosts, and I'm glad I did it when I did it.
Yeah, I agree. I'm glad that you got to be, one of the last of the Alex Trebek original Jeopardy contestants.
Original show. Yeah. So, who would be your pick to replace Alex?
Ooh, good question.
Oh, I'm waiting for LeVar Burton. He's coming up soon.
Right.
He's already taped his shows, and they're going to air soon. I think he's so well known. So many of us grew up with Reading Rainbow, right? And so he's like this heir to Alex on, learning is important. Books are important. I think he's perfect. I don't know how he'll do. Once he's on there, I may change my mind. But on paper, I'm 100% Team LeVar Burton. And if they had to pick a former contestant, I like Buzzy Cohen, who did the Tournament of Champions. I thought he did a great job.
I wasn't, I hadn't seen much, but the one that I wasn't really impressed with, and was George Stephanopoulos.
Yeah, I didn't watch any with him. Yeah. Some people who you think are going to do a good job, or Aaron Rodgers did a great job. They're talking about rebooting Sports Jeopardy just so he can host it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah,
seems like it's right down his alley. I think, I'd love to see a Peyton Manning guest host one of those and see how he stumbles through it.
God bless him. He's on the College Bowl right now.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. College Bowl. I've got a few of those I've got recorded that I need to watch. But I saw the first one.
Yeah.
It's a thing that's happening. So yeah.
It's something.
It's on TV.
Yeah, it's something.
He might do real okay.
Yeah. There you go. I'd like to see Will Ferrell host as Alex.
Yeah, me too.
I think that'd be funny.
I think his Alex's family would be on board with that.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the things that I guess he got asked a bunch, and he got asked when we were there too. Is did you like these sketches? And he thought they were funny.
Oh yeah. He had, from what I hear, he had a pretty good sense of humor.
He was hilarious. He was very, very funny. And he showed us pictures of like his bathroom that he'd redone. He was big into like being handyman. That was his thing. Oh, yeah. And so he showed us all these pictures. I redid this bathroom, and then there was an earthquake, and he had to start over.
Oh man!
Oh.
But it was exceptional to get to meet him.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure the feeling was mutual.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I'm telling you. I mean, there's no other reason why he was so attracted to you. At the thing is your personality. Kind of like it sucks you in a good way.
He wanted to make sure I wasn't going to cry.
Yeah, it's like no tears on Jeopardy.
Yeah, no, he takes more than that. I wasn't anywhere close to crying, so I've laughed at things before, and I still get $1,000, so it was great.
Yep.
And
usually when I lose, I don't go home with cash, so I'm good.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
And it wasn't really, and I told him, and it was a really good lesson for my students. Hey, I took this huge risk. And it was really scary, and I lost, and it was still okay. The world kept on turning the next day, so it was. Yeah. It all worked out.
As the world turns. This has been a blast. Yeah, I need to get in there and check on Luke. Beth, it's been an honor and a pleasure. I am so glad we got to do this, and I hope it turns out as awesome to be, because it's a great story.
Oh yeah, very interesting,
fun stuff. And I think you'll be the first with an IMDb page that we've interviewed.
Oh, I'm fancy.
The biggest celebrity.
Yeah, that's me. All right, I'm going to jump off here.
Have a great evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you again.
Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye.
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 That's so cool of Beth to share her experience with us. I thank her so much for helping us out and telling us how it was to be on a nationwide game show, the ups, the downs, the few bad things.
How it was to lose on Jeopardy.
Yes, I lost on Jeopardy. Can I sing that? I can't.
That's all you can say. That's it.
Yeah. Okay. But on Jeopardy, so awesome, so cool. I can't even imagine flying out to California to be on a game show with my family, being sworn to secrecy. It's awesome. This is great. We're going to wrap it up, though. Thank you guys for listening. We have some awesome, amazing episodes lined up. You're going to love it. I hope you really enjoyed this. So check us out at TwoLikeableGuys.com. You can also email us if you have something you want to say, something we messed up, something you want to contribute. TwoLikeableGuys@gmail.com. And as always, we like you, and we hope you like us too.
Later.